So what does the journey look like? If you were to ask me what we are going to be doing, and there's like an implementation roadmap that has some bullet points that support this slide that we'll talk about in a second. But the key thing is, building your system security plan. And the SSP is a tough process, and we see a lot of organizations that have one, but they tend to be too general, or they don't necessarily identify protections for CUI in their environment. So really, even before the SSP creation is the identifying of CUI in your environment. And newsflash, if you have multiple contracts, that's not as easy as you think. Their RPO, in our experience, have tools and techniques to help you identify the CUI, and then we can make sure that your SSP is addressing the protection requirements for that CUI. You will notice that I say that there's Project Spectrum out there, and that's going to be a link. Project Spectrum has been provided by the DoD and the Cyber AB to allow you to get a lot of self-help materials. And regardless of if you engage the RPO, and I think that you would be crazy not to, I encourage you still to go to the Project Spectrum, and the link is at the end of this presentation, to get the information that you need, which include templates and even recommendations for assessing your organization, so that you can kind of go through it self-guided to know what this process is going to be looking like. So when you engage the RPO, you're going to be more efficient in that pre-assessment process. And we may I have identified the plans of action and milestones. And that's what you see there. We'll be brought in for the readiness assessment, and we'll issue provisional programs. So the gaps that we see, we're going to, again, identify plans of action and milestone and help you navigate all of that. And one unique thing about Tego as an RPO is that we also have a full pro services team, professional services team on the systems and networking side, where we will find gaps. We can actually offer suggestions from our own team. We're not here to sell product or additional services as the RPO, but the benefit of buying those services through us is that we can actually guide them as the RPO and the advisors. We can guide the other professional services team on doing it to properly address your plan of action milestone. Once you get everything teed up and all your POAMs addressed, and we're confident in the readiness assessment, you engage the C3PAO. In this case, it's going to be databrackets, and they're going to navigate you through the assessment process, the CAP. And Srini's going to go through all of those things. But ideally, at the end of 180 days, you're going to end up coming out of this with a certification. You'll be good to go, and boom, you're in contact and ready to go for the next 3 years with regard to the contract obligations that the DoD is asking for.